Howdy, folks, and welcome. Another one of these reviews. Exciting review we've got for you today. Hammer Horror. And I've got special guest reviewer on here with me, the captain himself without the hat, Stephen Lee. What's going on?
I'm happy to talk Hammer Horror with you.
I know we've reviewed a few of the movies. I think Dark Sky Films back in the day released a few of them. We reviewed them on the show, but not much really. I mean, these particular movies here I'd never seen. I was actually confused with this movie, what it actually was. When I first saw it, I was thinking it was the original Mummy. But this one, I don't know if how long Hammer had been around.
Hammer had actually been around since the 30s. They really didn't quite... they made all kinds of different movies. I think when they made the horror of horror of Dracula, that's when they found overseas success, and then they just kept making those type of films. So around 1957, I think, is when Dracula came out. So this was right after Curse of Frankenstein, and then The Mummy right after that.
Yeah, this one they did in association with Universal, right? Because Universal wanted them to essentially remake the original Mummy. And I mean, they kind of did, but they put their own take on it, which I thought was really interesting. And I think people are going to be kind of shocked at what I thought about this, because going into it, I was like, I'll check it out, because the original Mummy movie, the Mummy is only in it for how long? Not very long at all. You don't see the Mummy.
Yeah, Boris Karloff is only in the Mummy raps at the very, very beginning, and the rest of it, he's just like a really old-looking guy. So
right.
It's still a great movie, but this, in the later sequels in Universal, the Mummy was in the majority of the movie, of course, not played by Karloff, and then this movie, Christopher Lee plays the Mummy.
And then there's a whole backstory too, where he's not in the Mummy costume the entire time, but pretty much. They have like a, I don't know,
flashback,
thousands of years earlier flashback that tells the story. But this one essentially, like, it starts off with a family of archaeologists. The son is played. Can you believe that Peter Cushing is playing a young man in this? That's how goddamn old this fucking movie is.
No. Yeah, that was going to say that, because I looked it up, and Peter Cushing is around 40-some years old, and they're talking to like he's like a 20-year-old kid.
Yeah, the beginning of it is like 5 years, I think, before the main part of the movie.
Yeah.
And I think it was his dad and his uncle
were
searching for the Egyptian princess Ananka or something like that. And they eventually come upon it and are warned. One of the locals is like, you must not disturb the tomb or you will die, essentially. And they don't listen to him. They're like, hey, get the hell out of here. And the father ends up having some sort of nervous breakdown that they really don't know. They don't know what happened. He just kind of falls over and is essentially like mute for the next 5 years. Meanwhile, his son, Peter Cushing's character, John, what was his name? John Benning or something like that, exploits the mummy, the tomb of the Egyptian princess and all this. And then we fast forward 5 years later, one of the descendants or whatever that was supposed to protect the princess's tomb is transporting the mummy to London to fucking kill the dad, kill the son, and everybody that fucked with the princess's tomb. There's a couple of random weird things that happened, like it was unexpected, but it actually worked, and it made the mummy look a little bit creepier. Like they drop there's a couple of goofs that are transporting his coffin, and I don't know if they're drunk or what, but they end up dropping his coffin in like a swamp.
A marsh.
Of some sort, yeah.
A bog.
That doesn't matter, because once the protector reads the scroll, the mummy's coming up from wherever he's at. It doesn't matter. And so this makes the mummy look all like, muddy and gruesome and everything. And it really works. And then we kind of just go from there. I mean, they do tell the backstory of how, what was the actual, was it Emotep or something like that? Was that Christopher Lee's name, I guess, in it before pre-mummy era?
That sounds about right.
And they have a backstory with that. And the mummy, this is like a mummy movie where the mummy just fucking goes on a rampage in it. I mean, this is one that it's not the slow brooding mummy that you get in like the early Universal movies. This fucking mummy, there's a scene, and I rewound it 4 or 5 times when he's initially busting in to get the uncle, I think. And he walks like fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin up to the uncle. He's like, "Come on, son, I'm coming for you."
Its name is Karis.
Okay, Prince Karis from Smoky Mountain Wrestling.
Yeah, exactly.
But didn't you like... The mummy had like a swagger in this when he moved. Like, I don't know if it was the costume itself or he was like, go on, whoop somebody's ass.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a more vicious mummy, even in the old Universal movies.
Yeah, and Peter Cushing, like, he's he's one of the best of that era for sure. He's been in like, I don't know how many different Hammer movies he did. That was kind of his thing. Him and Christopher Lee both. But I gotta say, overall, I mean, I don't want to give too much of it away and all that. But this is like, from what I can recall, like I had more fun with this than any other Hammer movie that I can remember. Like this is like, it's got some goofy stuff in it. It's fun. The mummy looked really cool. I mean, I enjoyed the entire movie. And this particular edition from Second Sight Films looked freaking amazing. This movie's from 1959, and it's a brand new updated transfer. I think it's a 4K remaster, and it is loaded with special features and has audio commentaries on it. Appreciation of the Mummy by David Huck Bell, who, David Huck Bell's a fucking proper motherfucker too. He's like sitting at piano and wanting to play a melody and everything, and he's dressed to the nines, if you will, and it's very proper. Definitely an Englishman when you see him. Unwrapping the Mummy, the music of the Mummy, the House of Horror, Memories of Bray, the Hammer Rep Company, promo reels. The limited edition version is badass. It features a bulbous slipcase with new artwork by Graham Humphreys, softcover book with new essays by Kat Ellinger, Lindsay Hallam, and Kevin Lyons, plus production stills thrown in like postcard form. This looks like a killer edition. I can tell you the transfer on this thing is fucking beautiful, though.
Yeah, I mean, it looked good. I watched part of the making of the Mummy on there, and it was really, really good.
Yeah, that's the thing about Second Sight Films is with the extras and stuff, they really go above and beyond what they need to, I think, sometimes. Like I was watching, they did a limited edition for The Witch, which that movie had nothing hardly out in the Universal, the US DVD and Blu-ray. But they have brand new interviews, and we're talking like hour-long interviews, each of these, with some of the cast and crew. So, but yeah, The Mummy, it's a high recommendation for me. I actually had there was a couple of these Hammer movies we're going to look at. This was my favorite. And I like this so much that I'm seriously thinking about actually just buying the full edition, because it's a movie that I hadn't had in the collection before, and it's a lot of fun. I think it's, of all the Hammer movies that I can recall, it's probably my favorite.
Wow. I mean, it's not one of my favorites, but I definitely can appreciate it. Still, watching these older films reminds me of watching them when I was a lot younger. So,
long time ago, in a
real
galaxy
long.
far, far away.
Yeah, gas was under $1.
But yeah, guys, like The Mummy, this new limited edition from Second Sight Films, you can't go wrong with this. I don't know what the retail is for it, but Diabolic, Orbit DVD, they're all going to have it. and it's a high recommendation for me. Check it out, and check us out over at
DEADPIT.com.
Give us the thumbs up.
Up your butt.
Like, subscribe, and if you subscribe, here's something else you can do. Once you subscribe, you can click the bell notification, right? And it'll notify you anytime that Dead Pit puts up new shit.
Or don't. I really don't give a if you do or
I
don't.
want you to. I want you to.
I don't care.
Let's keep our community growing here on YouTube.
I don't like it. I don't want you to do nothing.
Listen, they need to do that, pal.
No, don't you dare touch it.
Thumbs up, subscribe, and click that bell.
For this video officially, it's Old Curly Jaws has a message for you. Go on over to shop.deadpit.com and go look at their Teen Public store right now. You got some new shirts like the Old Curly Jaws official t-shirt, which is brutal and badass. You got the Yummy Gummy shirt with the captain himself on the shirt. You got Uncle Bill's face on a fucking shirt. You got the Final Girl shirt. You got all these shirts over at shop.deadpit.com. Get them before they're all out, especially the new one, Bedtime 1039. It doesn't get better than that, so go on out. Check out these shirts at shop.deadpit.com. Go look at their Teen Public store. You're going to have a good old time. Get them all!
Thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. Dead Pit on Patreon.com is the only place to check out a complete archive of the old Dead Pit radio shows all the way back from 2005 on, in addition to the midweek shows and fan commentaries, exclusive podcasts, and much more. Dead Pit on Patreon.com if you're interested. Tiers start at only $1.